What's going on, guys? Wanted to do a video on plain guitar bodies today. So I did a video where I showed you different stains on different figured pieces of wood and what colors would work and my thought process, and I thought I'd do that same video on non-figured guitar bodies. I don't have all the different woods I use, but I wanted to give you my thought process working with a darker wood or working with a lighter wood. Really depends on what you want to do and what colors you want to do. If you want a paint grade body, it doesn't really matter what you're doing. If you put a primer coat down and paint, any of these usually work pretty well. This is Paulwani. It's way huge open grain, and you're gonna have to pour fill it if you want a perfectly mirror type of surface. But if you got a body, you can't paint it, you want to stain it to get some sort of color. This is kind of why I started these videos, is I wanted to do tobacco burst or cherry burst or something along those lines on a non-figured piece of wood. You got to be really careful on what you're picking, and if you want the hues of the wood to be picked up into the coloring itself. So I've got Paulwani, alder, and mahogany. And actually, the whole reason I decided to do this video is I posted these two bodies on Instagram earlier in the week, and I was like, what colors should I use on these two bodies? Because I'm going to end up selling them. And the interesting thing is, as I was looking at the bodies, was that this is an alder blank, this is an alder blank. They're both two pieces. It's off-center joined and center joined on this one. But with this one, it's got two different hues of wood. So we've got, I'd say, more oaky and more traditional on this side. This has got like a sort of grain run out as you get to the center. The coloring is way off. So on this guitar body, because of that coloring, and you can even see it on the back a little bit, you got to go with a darker stain. So if you've got this and you're not going to paint it and you want to stain it, you got to go with a much darker stain to kind of hide the color variation. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. If you go with like a yellow or a color that's very light, like a light green, light blue, you will not get this to look right. You'll get two different shades because of the different pieces of wood. But if you go with like a black or a red or a purple or a dark blue, dark green, this will work out pretty well. This one, the coloring looks pretty good. The colors match pretty good. Alder's an interesting piece of wood because you get all these sort of flecks running through it. This you could do lighter. You could definitely do this one lighter because the grain matches up. It's not too bad. This mahogany, now this is an incredible piece of wood. This is a one-piece mahogany blank. And you can kind of see as you're flipping it around, you got two different colorations. What I would do is I'm going to rip it here, use this piece that has the better, more even color. I don't even think a dark stain with this would do it. That is kind of like a sap pocket or whatever. Nothing's going to clean that out. So this side isn't too bad. What I would do is probably glue the guitar top here if I was going to do that, or I'd probably put this as the back and then this is the front, because you don't have those pockets running through. And you can actually see those pockets running right here and right there. So this would work well probably with any color on this side. It's a little bit lighter mahogany. This side is a little bit darker. But you want to look for consistent coloring when you're playing with these types of bodies. This is then the Paulwani, significantly light. And again, you're going to have to go with the darker color, dark blue, dark green. You've got a lot of brown running in here, and I don't know if you'll be able to do anything really with this that's not dark. Real heavy open grain line running through here. Put a dark brown on here. Maybe you could hit with a yellow, a red. This Paulwani really soaks up the stain pretty good. You could do a lighter stain to get the grain to pop. which actually if I just did this in all yellow, it would probably look pretty good because you've got the brown in the wood already. Or, you know, stain it all dark brown and then maybe hit it with a little bit of yellow to get it to pop, because there is some interesting figure running in here. But a lot of times with these Palwani bodies, they use paint grade bodies. And I mean, this is a 1, 2, 3, 3.5, three-piece body. This is going to take a little bit of work to get right. I'm going to figure out what to do with this one. The other 3 bodies I have aren't as bad as this one, but you've got all these sap pockets, and they even used a filler here. So this will be interesting to stain. I mean, it's really light, actually pretty resonant, so we'll see what it does. So when you're looking at solid colors on this, make sure you are playing with the grain and you're looking at the grain patterns. Like, this is pretty significant in color. I would actually probably say this is probably a paint grade, but what we're going to do is do oxblood on this. I think the oxblood would look really good. Coloring looks right. Oxblood has like a black and red. It should darken that up, and then if I hit it with steel wool, should look all right. The other thing you could do with these bodies is put them in a UV box like I've shown in some of my other videos, or leave it outside where it's not going to rain on it for a couple of days, where you let it sit in the sun, and sometimes it'll help darken up that wood. In terms of other darker bodies, walnut I usually don't stain at all. I don't think walnut takes a good stain. Walnut is really perfect with just an oil. Ash is like a brown and yellow. Cherry, I haven't done a lot of cherry guitar bodies, but that's very similar in color to alder, and usually you just go with a darker wood tone. But again, darker body, darker colors will work. Lighter colors would work well as well, but usually if you're going to try and cover up some of the wood color, the darker colors can usually do that. Lighter colors, when you add to this to it, it immediately darkens more than you think. And then these, because it's lighter, you know, you can get what you want out of it, but you've got these dark grain lines. Like poplar is a really good sort of plain guitar body, stains really well, machines really well. You have a lot of flexibility with poplar. I think it's one of my more popular woods, haha, pun intended, because you can do a lot, it has a lot of flexibility. So these are some recommendations for darker, non-figured guitars. Just give you guys some thought process around color schemes and whatnot. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.